and welcome to another episode of Worst Collection Ever. This is the show where we tell you about the worst comic book collection in existence, and it just happens to belong to us. I'm Jen.
I'm Shawn. Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
Yeah.
This is a podcast where we make fun of our comic book collection. We talk about random issues of comics and our, well, more like we used to do random books. Now we kind of do series, like a selection of books, you know, that can
trying to do arcs
or sequential books.
Yes.
I think it makes it a lot easier. We've been doing that for a while.
Or themes of some sort.
Yeah, themes. I think we should do more themes.
I like a theme.
I think what we might do, because this is a weird month, because we're wrapping up this absolute month.
Yes,
right?
An absolute month in which we talk about number ones from the DC Absolute Universe.
Right. So we're doing that, and we're ending it with Superman.
Yep.
And there's a Superman movie coming out in about 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, July 11th.
July 11th. Normally, I would say, though, in this case, we'll just do Superman books the entire month.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a Fantastic Four movie coming out.
That's
the
right.
Same month. So I want to be able to cover both. So we're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah.
So which is easy. It's
sure.
not that big of a deal. But but it said normally I would just be like, okay, well, if it was July was Superman, August could have been Fantastic Four, and then we would have picked something else after that or whatever, and then decided how to do that. But yeah, it's all right though. We're just gonna talk about Superman for a while. I had a little trip to Mile High this weekend because you were doing something in the vicinity that I dropped you off at.
Yep.
You looked at the comics I bought. And you're like, you bought mostly Bloodlines annuals. They did.
You really did. I was like, wow, there's a lot of this. You also did get that fun little World's Finest issue that has Stephen Colbert on the cover.
Yeah.
And Superman, which that's a good time.
Yeah, that's an interesting comic in itself too. It's actually the perfect representation of what a World's Finest comic is. I
have enjoyed what we've read of the current World's Finest run because
100%.
Is a lot silver, bronze, agey. Like, Batman's not a huge asshole. He's kind of funny.
He is, yeah.
And there's sort of a camaraderie between him and Superman instead of just like Batman completely annoyed and also hating Superman for no fucking reason.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, they got a pretty good vibe going, and this particular issue is kind of like a one-off because I think we're in between like actual arcs that they do. Because I feel like World's Finest didn't always do arcs; they just kind of like a lot of self-contained stories.
Yeah, I think they do now because I feel like everything is an arc.
Yeah, that's fine. It's at least, and also it's I don't know, just because if you want to tell a story that way, but they don't do like sweeping arcs where it's like, oh, now you have to go to Detective Comics and read something.
Yeah.
You could just stay in this book and just deal with it and not really. It's very very straightforward. And this one is a very interesting this particular issue. The premise is something GBS or Metropolis or whatever this taste station is has a Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, or something esque figure that's very popular amongst the bro crowd. They keep saying bro in this comic.
I think they probably want it to be like a Joe Rogan-esque type.
It's pretty much a Joe Rogan thing because it's this guy who is very critical of Gotham in general and says it's like basically a shithole.
I mean, it is.
And it is.
He's not wrong.
This producer or whatever is just like, hey, Commissioner Gordon, police Commissioner Gordon, do you want to come over to Metropolis and try to tell people it's not a shithole?
Yeah.
And he's like, sure, but he feels very, very anxious about it. So he asks billionaire Bruce Wayne, who has nothing better to do but to just hang out with his friend.
Yeah, this is what I was like, wait, Bruce Wayne is friends with Jim Gordon?
They know
since when
they're on a first name basis.
Apparently.
But he gets there, and then Perry White's there. And Perry White's like, "Hey, man, it's gonna be cool. I'm like coming analogous to who you are.
I'm your counterpart.
I'm your counterpart. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And I'll help you out with this podcast or whatever podcast with video. Ugh.
Yeah,
as Jim says. And as they're doing this thing, giant kaiju monster starts attacking
Nice.
the studio and going through the streets. So Superman and Batman have to like jump into action here, and Batman like jumps into this giant mech that he created.
Of course he did.
And they're
He
fighting.
just happens to have in Metropolis with him.
It was in a he goes, I got stopped by the Batcave, and then he just shows up in this thing.
Are we doing like Gotham is across the bay, or?
I think so.
Sure.
I think it's close. I think we're supposed to imply that, you know, you could see it across the way. You know, so they're fighting this thing, but then it comes out that the associate producer of this podcast has a brother who has an ability to think of destructive kaijus, and you have them go against his, you know, do his bidding. Joe Rogan stand-in pumped him full of drugs to make it even bigger, and they conspired to imagine this kaiju to come and like fuck with the studio or whatever, but for ratings.
Yeah.
You know, or for whatever, like, of course, you know, it's stupid influencer bullshit. And these two goons end up getting arrested at the end, you know, because the, you know, the reasoning Joe Rogan stand-in was like, yeah, hey, why don't you make a kaiju? Because Superman could just fix it. It's okay. And, you know, but of course, I mean, wasn't that easy. It just was really interesting to see like that sort of approach to a story about like a very current, you know, current vibe,
right,
of sorts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was good. I was like, and it's saying it's self-contained, and it's like, man, this is like something I would have read in the 70s.
Yeah.
But it would have been like
obviously no podcast.
Obviously no podcast, but it would have been like some radio jockey or whatever. It could have been, or 80s, it was like Howard Stern bot fights Howard Superman or something. So no, it's wild stuff though, man. So I picked that up. And the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick. So I didn't tell you this. So I'm at, and I don't know what was going on here, but I'm at Mile High, and I'm one side of the cheaper books or whatever. And on the other side is like this, I think it's like this kid and like his wife, you know, and his father and mother, and maybe some other female friend or whatever. And they're just looking through these comics, and they're kind of like, they're looking through the Marvel side, because I'm on the DC side.
Yeah.
So looking through the Marvel side, they're like, hey, Doctor Strange, how about this one? Do you like this one? The little kid, he's like, I don't know. And he's like, what about Deadpool? You like Deadpool? He's like, yeah. I was like, why do you like Deadpool? He's like, I don't know. You know, and they're just calling out these comics. I don't know if they were like they're like, hey, son, let's go to the comic book store. I heard you like comics.
Yeah. So
we're gonna take a trip to the comic book store.
How old was this kid?
I was like 10.
Okay.
And we're gonna just find random comics for you to read. And it's so interesting though, because like because they're just having a stack, and the one girl though is just like, she's like, well, what do you got in your stack? She's like, well, I got this, and it's like, and I got Eclipso, and I was like, wait, what? And I was gonna be like, actually,
yeah,
you know. But she's like, because this art is badass and it's fucking cool. It's pretty cool, you know. So I'm gonna get this or whatever. And I'm just like, it is badass.
Yeah,
Bart
it
Sears.
is.
Hey, Bart Sears is pretty good, right?
I could see that they're like, this kid likes superheroes, right? He likes whatever, the animated. He liked X-Men 97 or whatever, and he wants to get into comics, or he liked the MCU, but he doesn't know where to start. And that's pretty common. And if you're dealing with parents who aren't comic book fans, like, you know, they don't know where to start either.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not making fun of them.
No, I know. I'm just saying that it is, comics has a higher barrier to like the actual physical media of comics.
It's like wrestling, but like a million times full.
Yeah, it has a really high barrier to entry for people who have no idea where to start.
If it's just a thing where, especially if you're like 10, if you're maybe this kid's age, where you're, you know, 10, 12.
Even as an adult, if you don't know, and
100%, yeah,
you know, don't know people, and
but even being like a kid, and you know, just, you know, you see a few things, but then you learn. That's one thing that I loved learning about with comics. It's just learning about like all the stuff beforehand.
Yeah,
and that's kind of a thing that I feel is kind of lost a lot of times. We were talking about that the other day.
Yeah,
about how like a lot of kids, you know, younger folks today, they don't appreciate history,
right?
Because
They're not aware.
Because they just don't.
Pop culture history, like cultural.
They don't look at that stuff and go, holy shit. They just kind of go, why is it there? That's this is annoying. Why you got to talk about history? It's like, no, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Everything that's going on, like all the stuff with, especially in culture.
Yeah.
Like, especially in like film and television and comic books specifically, like I remember like when I was, in my like 13 or whatever, there was that phase when I first got into books and comic books again. Cause maybe it was like I was a little kid. Like I might've had like a few comic books here and there, but I didn't know anything about like what Secret Wars was, like the original Marvel Comics Secret Wars. And so I remember going to the comic book store, with my dad and just having this guy tell us, kind of explain it a bit. Cause it's like, what the hell is a secret war?
I know.
Just the title alone. It's like, why is it secret? What happened? Because I remember, because I had memories of Secret Wars 2 and the Beyonder farting around, but there was like a thing before. It's like, what the hell was before that? And the guys, this guy's explaining stuff. But this is before, things that you could access. Even nowadays, I think it's if you're willing to do the research and just hunt down comics like back issues and stuff, you will get more of that experience and more of an appreciation.
Sure.
For what you're for what you're reading and for what you're about to experience, because I just think that you're not gonna get it just by reading like a summary on like Wikipedia,
right?
You it makes more sense to just jump into like like what was Zero Hour? Well, I'm gonna read the trade, the Zero Hour trade. It's like, oh, now there's all these individual tie-in issues. I can find these, and you're gonna find out what was going on around the time, and like who's that guy? That's the thing. I'm always like, who's that guy?
Yeah,
but that was an interesting moment for me to kind of be on the viewing end of that sort of
interaction.
It's all right, Adam. We're here to help. Just stay cool. I don't want to be here.
Resurrections, an Adam Warlock and Thanos podcast. 5 years and going strong. Every other week, mostly. For all of your Adam Warlock, Thanos, or Marvel cosmic needs. Find it on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts are available. ResurrectionsAdamWarlock.tumblr.com.
Adam Warlock. You cannot keep leaving your philosophy books open on the floor. I always trip on them in the middle of the night on my way to the can.
So, last week of Absolute Month, what are we reading today?
Today we're going to read Absolute Superman #1 from January 2025. It's pretty awesome. I like this book a lot. I wasn't sure how I was going to be into it.
This book is saying something, and saying something is capitalized.
Yeah. The cover here is Superman, just a shot of him just
standing
there.
What looks like a wheat field?
He's in the field of some sort of tall grass or whatever, and he's wearing his suit. But the suit, you're not familiar with the suit the way it looks here. It's different.
Yeah.
Because you have the S.
Yes.
And he doesn't have underwear.
No, it's all solid. The top has like a bunch of like lines almost, and then his arms look like I don't know, like they're fire or something, like they're red glowing.
Yeah, up to his
elbow.
Wrist.
Yeah, so like a gauntlet almost.
Yeah, it's this gauntlet, and it's kind of like what we were talking about. Maybe it's like an inverse of what the crackling energy was from last week. With the Green Lantern.
And then you can kind of see, because we don't really discuss the suit in this issue. But this suit was created by his mother on Krypton to basically be a life support system.
Yeah.
So it does things for him, right?
Because he has like a Tony Stark kind of,
yeah.
Jarvis thing.
Kind of, yes. Because he can still do physical things, but the suit helps him do them.
Yeah.
And then also you can kind of see it here because his cape is like billowing out behind him. This cape is actually made of the red dust of Krypton, which we don't talk about in this issue. But
you pointed this out to me way after I read it.
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together.
Because they don't tell you until like, I don't know, 2 or 3 issues in.
Right. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm just looking at this like, okay,
but if
this
you
is just the way the art is. But
yeah, but if you see how like kind of on the edges there, it looks a little not crisp. It's not like a crisp line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's to represent like the sand.
So the story proper, and this is something I kind of throws me here, is the actual title of the book is at
It's
the
like in the
very end.
middle. It's like almost in the middle. It's very strange.
But it's here, and it's just the story is technically is called "Last Dust of Krypton," Part 1, Down in the Dirt.
Yeah.
And we got, let's see, writer Jason Aaron, artist Rafa Sandoval,
Mm-hmm.
and a whole mess of others. Variant covers by Jim Lee.
I don't know if I've actually seen any of the variants for this.
Yeah, which one is this? This is not.
This is what it actually. That's the original cover or the newsstand cover or whatever.
Yeah, this is just the regular ass one. I don't know what the other ones look like.
I don't either. Off the top of my head. So we start here with a shot of Krypton, which is years ago. 9 million light years from Earth. I don't know how far that is. It's very far.
We have the distance.
I cannot comprehend that length. And it's just basically like red, and Krypton itself seems to be this super advanced civilization that runs on volcanic heating, but also has like weird crystals everywhere.
Yeah, there are these sunstone crystals. This actually reminds me when you're just looking at it.
Yeah.
This version of Krypton, this is also like the actual cities.
Yeah.
Looks like Apocalypse.
It really does, because it's like everything is red.
Yeah, it's very, very fiery. It looks very warm.
And apparently they have like pink gardens and whatever. And Krypton is ruled over by the Science League or whatever the fuck they're called. I can't remember.
The Clerics of the Science League.
Oh, it is the Science League.
That's what it's called.
Oh,
Science
nice. And everybody has on their clothing the symbol of what class they belong to. Because Krypton apparently is a very class-oriented society, very stratified, and you really can't move between them. So science people have big old sun on their chest.
Yeah, we jump to what I guess would be like
It's like a farm
area. All those also like Stonehenges here. So
yeah, it's really weird.
You can do like a Halloween 3 kind of business here.
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of like
I'm
that.
sure there is a weird mask factory on the other side of those mountains.
Oh man, with lava shamrock. Oh no, it's just Tom. Why am I blinking? I was say Tom Scared. Tom
Atkins.
Just wearing one of these like things on his chest.
Yeah,
it's like one of these
but
suns.
it's just that witch mask on his chest. Like that's the symbol.
Oh, he has the witch mask on his chest, and
that's his symbol.
Just flying around with road sodas.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he has to find the people with the skull and the pumpkin to, like, I don't know, become a trifecta of, I don't know, maybe a kaiju. Maybe he becomes like a Voltron of some sort.
Ooh, Tom Atkins Voltron, sign me the fuck up.
That'd be awesome. And then he just becomes like the guy who tries to kill all the children in that movie.
Oh, he just uses beams.
Yeah, because I mean, that guy loves toys. It could just become like, didn't he have like a toy of like almost his mother in the corner at one point?
He had like an old woman, in a rocker.
Yes, but she was a toy or like a mechanic. She was, yeah, so maybe that's what he becomes when those three things unite. They become, I don't know, the guy who gets his head ripped off in an alley.
The end of Halloween 3 would have been much better if Tom Atkins, when he was yelling "stop it," his laser eyes ignited and he just burned the entire that gas station.
Oh yeah, that poor guy at the gas station, man. He was just trying to do his job. He was just trying to the first thing, he finds some guy, he takes him to the hospital, and some nonsense is going down, so he bounces because he's smart. And then he's just minding his own goddamn business, and here comes Tom Atkins screaming at the top of his lungs.
This guy again. Oh yeah, that
he's
guy.
Like, I can't be bothered with it.
Gas station attendant in Halloween 3. Top 5 smartest people in horror film history.
He may be top 1 because he saw that there was some fucking nonsense going down and he just walked away. And I'm like, smart. He was just trying to live his life. That poor man. Anyway, so we're out in the Redlands, which looks like a farm, and we have this guy who's wearing the S on his chest, and
his head is huge.
He has a huge head. He's an older man who kind of looks like he has a mohawk and a beard. And he's
got a good look, man.
Yeah, 100%.
This guy looks bad at it.
He does.
This was, and the second time I read this, I thought this was Jor-El.
It's not.
But it's not.
But he looks fucking cool. He's like, oh man, it's, my crops are shitty. I paid for rain, which is late. There seems to be something wrong with the dirt. And he's talking to the only person you see legs underneath a machine. So somebody's working on a machine. And he keeps talking to this person. We find out that it is
Lor-El.
Lor-El.
Laura. Is it Laura or Lara?
Lara. Lor-El.
Lara Lor-Van.
Was her maiden name.
Yes.
Now she is Lor-El because obviously she's married to Jor-El. But so she is repairing this machine. And she also has the S.
She's rocking some Eradicator glasses too.
Oh, she absolutely is. So she fixes this machine for this guy. I'm assuming maybe a neighbor.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're the only person who can fix this. He's like, yeah, this is back when, people made things with their hands. And then all of a sudden, here come the rain machines. And they're these like weird little drone thingies.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and that's when the rain comes and the guy's like, oh, time to go back in. And she's like, you paid all this money for it. I'm going to stand here.
She looks really cool just standing here.
She does look cool.
Lara seems really cool.
She does, because it does talk about like when she was younger, she wanted to be an astronaut. But she wrote an essay that was critical of the Science League. And so they said, fuck you, you're not getting anywhere. You are unruly and you will be regulated to the lower class of this S class, the worker class, forever. And she was only 9 when she wrote that. And they were like, nope, you're done. So yeah.
So we learn a little bit more about this class structure, and you learn that all waiters are the S class.
Basically, any sort of manual labor is the Superman sign. We do get people eating in a restaurant.
We have what I would best describe as Kryptonian brunch.
It does really kind of look like pancakes, doesn't it?
These definitely look like a stack of pancakes with a few with meatballs.
I mean, maybe.
Or maybe some sort of crepes.
It could be a crepe.
And you got mimosas, so they have giant straws on Krypton, and
yeah, but it's kind of fun to like look at these people sitting in a restaurant on Krypton.
There's also this woman in here who's got one of those. She looks like she's got one of those things in her hair that back in when Jersey Shore was big, they had a thing where it's like, well, put this in your hair and you can have
the bump it.
The bump it,
like when Sarah Palin had that like bump it thing going on, and Snooki had it.
Yeah, she's got like an inverted one or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on back there. That's kind of like a million messy buns. That's kind of like when I throw my hair up and it just weirdly sticks in a clip. That's what it looks like.
Right.
So we see the worker class, which we have a waiter, we have a janitor. A lot of people shun this class because they're workers and they're poor. But Lara and Jor-El take pride in it, in the fact that they are people who do things with their hands. They are what they call people of steel.
Children of the sun.
Children of the sun, people of steel.
Man, they think we're cool fucking people, man.
Yeah, right? And so then we go to, because Lara had mentioned it previously, that Jor-El is going into the mine. So here he is in the mine, where I guess they mine sunstone.
Yes.
So he's in the mine and they're like, I don't know, the people heard cracking, the people who work in the mine heard cracking. So they bring him in because I guess he's an engineer and they want to see, if it's safe for them to be down there.
By the way, I want to say these these spelunkings, or not really spelunking, but these mine work suits.
Oh, yeah.
They're wearing here. These are pretty cool.
Well, they've got like these cool helmets.
Yeah. Well,
that have like a light on them.
Yeah.
They're just neat.
Armor, it's just like some sort of armor, but it's, it's protective, but it's just really, it's really well drawn. Like
it's just cool.
The style of this book and the way things look.
Yeah, is cool.
And the way they put it all together with like the colors, because it's mostly like blue, yellow, red, orange,
Superman
whatever.
colors.
It's Superman colors, but it all works really well.
Yeah, it does.
It's not funky in any way. It just looks great.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is stuff that's like, I want action figures.
Yes.
When I look at stuff and I go, I want an action figure, immediately, you're doing a good job.
Yeah. And when we're looking at like what happened on Krypton, like the page itself has like a blue border, and then each little box has a tiny little S up at the right corner, which is kind of fun. So Jor-El's like, okay, what's going on down here? He's shut down the mine for the day. And then, of course, here comes, I don't know what class this is.
He says he yells out later, he goes, the League of Middle Management.
Ooh, Middle Managers.
The League of Middle Management.
Jesus.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, God, the Middle Managers.
Could you imagine?
No. I would be so mad. I'd be like, middle management? Really? Because No.
Just call it. You might as well be the League of Jabronis because
Yes.
what a bunch of losers.
Having been middle management at different points in my life. No. Because we don't do anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's like, what did you do? And he's like, well, I want to make sure this is safe. We need to send in like blah, 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 blah. And the guy's like, look at my chest and look at yours. And then as they're arguing, you just hear rumble.
So everything starts cracking and things are getting funky. But also you learn about Jor-El here.
Oh, yes, we do learn about Jor-El that apparently he was going to be in the Science League. He was upper class, the top 1% of whatever. And he gave a speech at his graduation criticizing the Science League for not taking environmental concerns seriously. And if they didn't, it was going to spell doom for the planet.
Yeah.
And they said, fuck you, Jor-El. Now you're work class.
Yeah.
And like booted his ass out.
He's speaking the truth.
Because he's speaking the truth and they didn't want to hear it.
I just want to point out here, things start rumbling. And if you look on this panel here, you see the S's because the panel is rumbling.
They're moving. Oh, that's cool.
That is, I just noticed that because I was like, why is there three of these here? But this is that's fun.
Because the panel itself is moving. That's really cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
I dig it.
It starts cracking and we get this like neon green glow.
It looks like it's gas or
It
something.
looks like it's gas, but apparently it's some sort of radioactive sludge, I guess.
Yeah.
And as
mutagen, watch out for Ninja Turtles, guys.
If only it was that simple, because like I'd rather have Ninja Turtles than what happens to this dude.
Yeah, right.
Because like it just like starts spurting out everywhere and it lands on this.
This is the middle management guy.
The middle management guy, and he looks like the Toxic Avenger.
Oh, it fucking rules.
He gets
Jonah Hext, but like all over.
His
face just turns into like sinews.
And this is like the first instance we see because this book does this a lot. Like, especially when we get to the Brainiac issue, which I think is like 6 or 7. Brainiac makes a dude puke his own bones up and you see it.
I need to read that. Because every time you said that, it makes me think
it's
of
amazing.
City of the Living Dead.
It's amazing.
Man.
But
wild.
it is this weird, gross ass fucking body horror shit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of great.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So yeah, this guy dies. And I'm assuming, I don't know if everybody else does, but Jor-El like starts running.
People start getting out. And so, he survives, obviously.
Yeah, Jor-El obviously survives. So then we cut to now. We're in Brazil and we are dealing with another group of miners who are dealing with bullshit peacekeepers who are dressed like Peacemaker.
Yeah, they're all like John Cenas, which actually makes sense because if you want a bunch of
John Cenas,
you could save on like certain amenities or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the element of a surprise because nobody can see them.
That's right.
So apparently they were
save on uniforms. Yeah.
Yeah. So the peacekeepers work for the Lazarus Corporation, which is something that we see come into play with this book a lot.
Well, and just in the absolute universe in general.
Yes, in general. But really in this book.
It's the most prevalent.
It's the most, yeah. So we have the peacekeepers who are enforcing the Lazarus Corporation's diamond mine claim here. And of course, we have poor migrants working this place.
Well, these are locals.
It does say some of them are migrants.
Okay.
And locals and migrants living in basically the slums outside here.
Well, also, too, they've uncovered like a
huge thing of asbestos.
So it's
and
like
they were
kind of snowing, but it's not.
They were just like, hey, we realize asbestos is bad and we'll kill you. But you know what? Keep digging. So they do, and it actually snows asbestos all over the whole fucking town here. And then when they go down the next day to keep mining, because the reason they keep mining is because they're like, we'll give you however much. It ends up being like $300 or something, which is more than a month's pay. So of course they work. But they go down to get the diamonds the next day and they're already dug up and crushed into diamonds.
Yeah. Everything is prep for them.
Nobody knows how that happened. And so we see the previous night where it's snowing, asbestos all over the place. And there's this guy.
Well, real quick, I want to point out before we move on here, because this is all taken care of, right?
Yeah.
And the lead guy who I always...
What's his name? Zhao?
I don't think that's how you pronounce it, but we'll just say Zhao.
Sure.
He is like, let's just take this up to the surface. We're going to claim our pay.
Yep.
And the peacemakers are like, hey, what's up with that?
Right.
Because and I guess this has happened in other mines
around the world.
Somewhere in Botswana. But then this one guy goes, Zhao, how is this possible? Does this mean the Omega Men are real?
And the Omega Men come into this book a lot.
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
So yes, they do. And I don't really know a lot about the Omega Men in the typical continuity.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know they were like kind of space dudes.
Are they space dudes? Because in this book, they are basically a rebel force.
Okay.
And you see the Omega Men are in these cool suits that have like the Omega symbol on their face.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. And that actually is where Jimmy Olsen comes from.
He's an Omega Man?
He's an Omega Man.
How about that?
Which is like when you were like, oh, maybe we could start this arc. I was like, but unless I explain this whole thing, you're not going to
I would be lost.
Where the fuck, Jimmy?
Where the fuck did they come from?
But yes.
Because Omega Men were just like Green Lantern homies when they first started.
Yeah, no, they are apparently a force that is resisting the control of the Lazarus Corporation.
Right.
So then we cut to the night before, and Zhao is standing in an alleyway. It's snowing asbestos, and he's talking to a hooded figure who is Kal-El, who is not huge in this book. He seems to be just regular size.
Yeah, he's a pretty.
He's not 6'7" absolute Batman.
No, he still looks like he's.
Oh, he's still jacked
fit as fuck. You know?
But I put him at what, like 5'8", 5'9"-ish? He doesn't look.
I don't know.
He doesn't look very big in this book.
Okay.
And he's got like a thing, and he is looking at Zhao, and he X-ray visions him, and we get this awesome drawing of a skeleton.
Yeah, that kind of rules.
It's so
you see the outline
cool.
of this guy's like hair because he's got like
his like
big curly
body,
hair.
and like you can see the shovel, but it's just like skeleton.
Yeah,
which is cool. And he's like, "Hey man, you're really quiet. I don't know if you speak Portuguese or whatever," at which he does. He's like, "Well, for tonight, do you want to come to the barbecue? Like, we have food. Why don't you join us?" And he's like, I think the struggle that Superman seems to be having in this book is the same thing that happened on Krypton. Like, you have people that are very good, like Zhao, right? Yeah. Who is going to invite him in. He doesn't know this man, but he's going to invite him into his home, and he's going to give him food. But then you have the Peacemakers and the Lazarus Corporation, who are exploiting these people just to make money. And it's kind of the basic same thing on Krypton. So he's like, which one is the truth? And he doesn't realize that both of them are.
Yeah, right. Well, even his suit mentions something later on.
Yes.
That I will point out.
Yeah. But. So he's like, yeah, man, I gotta go. So he leaves. And then we cut back to the now where the Peacekeepers are very mad.
Yeah. This one dude's got a fucking Rambo knife.
Oh, yeah. Dude, this knife is cool.
It's just fucking it's like that's a knife.
Yeah, and it's like shiny, and I don't know if it has electricity or if that's just
it's just the way it's shining.
Yeah,
but
catching the light.
It's the way that's drawn. It's like man, this knife will fuck you up.
And they're like, what the fuck? Where did you get all these diamonds? Nobody used the crusher. And then we see like Superman's apparently sleeping.
So okay, I'm gonna ask a question here. I'm gonna at least maybe try to figure out what's going on here. So he has on his Superman's sleeping in some sort of hut.
Yeah.
On the roof, there's like this hexagon, or no, it's a
solar panel
or a solar panel. Okay, sorry. Well, no, sorry. It's what's a six-side one?
No, it's a stop sign.
It's a stop sign.
It's a stop sign.
It's a stop sign, but he's also got like these tubes going into the house.
I think so. It never really explains what this is, but my interpretation of this is Superman needs the sun, but so does his suit.
Yeah.
In order to work. So this is the solar panel that charges the suit that also helps him get energy. So all these little wires are connected to his suit.
Yeah.
So it's a solar panel sitting outside, and they're just like glowing red, and he's just like sleeping. And they're like, "Hey, Clark, you better get up." Or Kal-El, excuse me.
The Peacemakers show up in this truck, and the truck is like evacuate the area. Lazarus means obedience.
Yeah.
And it shows up to Clark's abode.
Or Kal-El, because he's not Clark at this point.
Oh, sorry, Kal-El.
Yeah, Kal-El.
Kal-El's little hut, and he's like, "Hey, man," they're like, "Get the fuck up." So these Peacemakers try to barge in.
Yeah.
And he just barrels through them and knocks one dude into fucking next week.
Yeah, because he does. So here he is in all of his glory. His suit is bulletproof. He is surrounded by the Peacemakers. It's a really cool picture.
Yeah, this picture of him with the suit, like you get to see the suit. You don't see the cape at all.
No, the cape's not here yet.
But the suit looks awesome, like the gauntlets and the boots.
And even the boots glow.
Yeah.
And like it kind of glows too, like on the side.
Again,
Cool.
Sick ass action figure shit.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Because you know what? Those glowing things could be like the transparent plastic.
Oh, transparent. You know what?
Cool.
You want to put little batteries in them. Fucking make that thing, glow up. Press the button on its back. I'm on for it. This is awesome.
Yeah. And so he's like, hey, and he calls this suit Soul, SOL. And he's like, Soul, if I hit these guys, are they going to die? And he's like, no. And he's like, that's all I need. But Soul is trying to talk him out of doing this.
Yeah.
He's not listening. So he just starts like ripping through these fucking
he's like,
peacemakers.
look, Sooty.
Yeah, Sooty.
Soul.
Friend.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say, but I want to make sure these miners are safe. And the suit goes, Kal-El, this is a planet of combustion engines, fanatical religions, and thermonuclear weapons.
Yep.
These people are never safe.
He's fucking right.
And I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, speak the truth there, a suit.
Sooty.
Yeah, so he's doing his thing. He's going super fast. There is this cool panel where I guess he's like running, but since he's talking to his suit, like the speech bubble is a normal speech bubble at the top, and then it kind of fades. So I'm wondering, is that like an echo?
Yeah.
It just looks cool.
And just also this thing of him moving at super speed amongst this crowd real quick.
Yeah, it's like red.
You just see like his outlines here.
Yeah, it's just
awesome.
really neat. And he gets zapped.
Yeah, I think there's like an
electrical thing.
Oh, the page fell out. Sorry.
And so then we're, I guess, in some sort of transport van. And this guy from the Lazarus Corporation is talking to these soldiers who work for the Lazarus Corporation, who are all looking at iPads, and they're like, hey, this is the guy we're after. What do you see here? And this woman with short hair says, well, it seems like his suit is almost alive and you can see him talking to it at times.
Yeah.
And they're like, good job, agent. And so then we go back to Cal using his heat vision, which apparently he cannot control.
It's just like a flare, like a solar flare kind of thing. Because this,
yeah, and we even get another skeleton.
Yeah, we get a skeleton,
and these people are
they're cooking up. Like
I don't know how they're not dead, but maybe they are somehow alive.
This part where he's trying to contain this, after the blast.
Yeah, he like puts it into his eyes.
Like his whole like arm is lit up and stuff.
Yeah, and he is lit up too. Like when you see him on his knees here at the very bottom, he's just fucking flame. Which is cool. These soldiers show up and Soul is still talking to him. And he's like, look.
You must never forget the lesson of Krypton.
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's these 2 pages at the bottom. Like some planets can't be saved type of thing. There's these 2 panels.
Some worlds cannot be saved, not from themselves.
And that's 100% fucking true. Because you see these huge helicopters coming in. They're dropping tanks and shit. And then Superman's like, all right, let's fucking do this. And all of a sudden, like, he gets a handcuff on his wrist. And it is Agent Lane with one of these electrical guns. And she has handcuffed herself to him.
She has. And she goes, move and I fry your face, Superman.
Yeah. Call him Superman.
And this is where we get the title of the book.
We get the title of the book. And then we also cut to the Nevada desert where there's like a facility. And in this facility, there is a person hooked up to things who is looking at all these screens. Now, this is Brainiac.
Okay. I thought Raish was the guy behind all this.
He is, but like Brainiac works for him, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So here's Brainiac. He's sitting here looking at all this stuff, and all these little glass cities are sitting here. I don't know if you can see the one on the right, but it literally people, like everybody's screaming in these cities, and this one just says, kill me.
Yeah,
or kill us.
Please kill us. And the other ones are just going, arg.
Yeah, so being shrunk down by Brainiac, apparently extremely painful.
Oh, God. Yeah, this is fucked up.
It's very fucked up. And then we cut to central Kansas, where we see the Kent farm has just been destroyed, and it is property of Lazarus Corporation.
See, these are kind of confusing cut-ins because...
It makes sense if you've read the rest of the book.
Of course, but it's just...
I know.
So random, especially with this.
It feels random.
St. Kansas one, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels random, but it is setting up what's coming.
Right.
So we see the Kent farms all fucked up, and then we're back on Krypton and the Redlands. The same day, Jor-El went down into the mine, and he just walks home, and he's like got burns all over him. And Lara is like, "Oh my God, why aren't you in the hospital?" And he's like, "I was right." Basically, I'm right about what's going to happen to Krypton.
You don't think I said at my graduation and everybody was like...
And everybody said, fuck you, you're an idiot. I'm right. And we're fucked. And so he's like, where's Cal? And here comes I don't know, maybe he's like 9-ish.
Yeah, he's a boy.
He's a boy. He's maybe like 9 years old. And here comes Cal with Krypto,
Who's just a regular ass dog.
who's just a little regular ass dog. And he's like, I know shit sucks right now, but we're going to do this together. And you get this picture of them like embracing in this field of, I don't know, red plants,
Actually,
pink
it's like purple.
plants.
It's like purple, like wheat.
Yeah, but then the very last panel is that radiation coming out of a crack in this wheat and like burning a flower, I think that is.
Something's hissing out there.
And then it says next, Superman versus Lois Lane, and that's where we leave it.
That's wild, man. So,
Yeah.
and does he fight her?
No, he doesn't fight her, but she's handcuffed to him, so, and she's trying to subdue him for this Lazarus Corporation that she works for.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is where we leave it.
Yeah, that's how we're going to leave it here for Absolute Superman #1 from January 2025. And that's going to do for Absolute Month.
Yeah.
This book, man, this Absolute Superman, like I said, there's a lot of real
It's saying some shit.
saying shit, but it's also just weaving it into this DNA of the character.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot about who this person is, and you don't have to see the fucking planet explode right away.
Yes.
It's not, it's just a little bit different. And I think, just visually, like the stuff on Krypton is just awesome.
Yeah. Oh, it's really cool.
just
Like all
very
the reds
interesting.
and the crystals and I think even Lara mentions at one point that there's some sort of geostorm where it's like hailing sapphires.
Yeah, that's right. Because she's talking to that guy, and she's like, and the guy's like, yeah, these we have these gemstorms or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, just like, yeah, sapphire is the size of your fist.
And
or
it's
the
just
size
like
of your head
fucking
or something.
hailing them somewhere. And you're like, it's insane. Like that kind of planet that could actually harbor life. Hailing sapphires, but I
They
don't
make
know.
it work.
They do make it work.
I mean, not anymore.
Not
but
anymore.
They did.
But I find it really interesting that we're setting up this parallel between obviously Earth versus Krypton. And then we have Cal, who is here on Earth, very reclusive, had a whole life on Krypton that he remembers before he got here. I think it's a very interesting book. It's a really interesting way to approach the character. Because I have really enjoyed the Absolute Universe so far. Not all of Martian Manhunter, I think I'm a little bit iffy on. I only read the first issue. Flash, I kind of go back and forth, but I really, especially the big three, I really, really liked them.
Yeah, the big three have been real good.
Like real good. Like Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Absolute Superman, I think are just fucking hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
All three of them did. The trades are coming out, I think, in August.
Those will probably be snapped up pretty big.
I have pre-ordered Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman.
See, that's exciting actually, because now I'm looking. What is the cover? Do you know? Is it like the first 6 issues maybe, or?
That's a good question. I would have to actually look. Absolute Batman is definitely 1 through 5.
Okay, well, that's probably the rest. Probably the same
I'm
art.
assuming there might be a one shot in there afterward.
Wasn't it like the noir thing or whatever? Like an absolute noir.
Oh yeah, but that's not the same thing.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they call it that. I don't know if there's like a one shot. Maybe. I do wonder how they're going to do that, because there's kind of like a Mr. Freeze thing, but that's almost 2 issues, and
We'll see.
I don't know. We will find out actually what they do. So yeah, it's either 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, and I don't know, but it should be at least the first 5 issues. So yeah, I think you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening, everybody. You can find us on our socials everywhere. I'm at Angry Host Shawn. She's at Jen Stansfield. You can find us on our YouTube page. I've been trying to make some adjustments on the YouTube page with some new graphics so far. It's Angry Hero 79 is the handle for the channel. If you look in the link that's attached in this description for the podcast, wherever you get it, you can click on it and go to an uploaded ongoing playlist for the podcast. But I'm trying to actually make the old episodes, stand out a bit better, put some tags in there. Hopefully they'll work. Hopefully some people will listen to it. And because there's a lot of them that for some reason didn't get loaded. Like they're loaded, but they're not like live. And because it's weird the way that you have to do it with, it's not weird. It's just, it's, I don't know. It's something with the RSS feed or whatever. So it's just whatever. But I'm working on making it real, because if they're up there, they'll be up there, and you can just listen to these old episodes on YouTube And I would definitely appreciate some interaction there. We all would. I know our good friend Pharaoh commented again something about the Utz potato chips.
Yeah.
He mentioned that.
Did he mention the lemonade ones?
No, he didn't mention the lemonade. It was just mentioned the proper spelling for them. You enjoyed your Hush video.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
You knew that usually he's like, Jen had something to say about it. So it's good
oh,
to see
I
that.
have opinions.
She does. Yeah. So there's a little video up there too on the channel. I gotta make it our channel.
Yeah.
I think that will be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, and then of course you have Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get the show, you can find it. And worstcollectionever@gmail.com is our email address. So once again, folks, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Bye.